Members of the public have begun viewing the body of the late Pope Francis as it lies in state at St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican ahead of his burial on Saturday. The body of the late Pontiff was transferred to the iconic church from his residence for the start of the 3 days of public mourning and viewing.
With quiet strength, the papal gentlemen, 14 in number, bore the mortal remains of Pope Francis, encased in an open coffin shoulder high. From the Santa Marta residence where he lived for 12 years within the Vatican walls to the St. Peter's Basilica. Along that short walk, the casket was escorted by cardinals outstanding in their red hats, bishops, friars carrying candles, and Swiss guards in their full uniforms. The procession was also flanked by nearly 20,000 faithful and pilgrims who had started streaming into the St. Peter's Square early morning. As the casket passed, they applauded, in keeping with the Italian tradition of mourning and acknowledging the death of a loved one. The applause broken only by the voices of male choir chanting psalms as the body of the late Pontiff made its way into the historic and iconic Basilica. Inside the church, the pallbearers gently and carefully placed the casket onto the papal altar, and here once again, members of the Swiss Guard took their positions, guarding the coffin of the late Pope as hymns were sung by a choir at St. Peter's Basilica. Shortly after, the cardinals and other members of clergy attended a service before paying their tributes to the late Pontiff. And soon, it was time for the thousands of pilgrims and faithful to enter the Basilica that had been opened to the public. One by one, they filed by the coffin, the solemnity of the moment they were witnessing not lost on them, some taking the memories of the event with them in photos and videos.
We were meant to have an audience with him today, and we will do, but not in the way that we expected.
Pray, I think, and then I pray. This is the only thing we can do.
Pope Francis died on Monday from stroke and cardiocirculatory collapse, moments after delighting the public while appearing for Mass on Sunday. His body will lie in state at the St. Peter's Basilica, allowing faithful to pay their last respects for the next 3 days. He will be buried at the St. Mary Major Chapel, his preferred and cherished place, instead of the grottos of St. Peter's Basilica, where hundreds of his predecessors are buried. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.